Alright, before we begin, I gotta show you this guy. This is Robbie the Mech suit. I built him several years ago, and he's not that interesting anymore. He's really small and simple. But he did start a design trend that I really enjoy and haven't really used since I built Robbie the Mech suit. I call it the Mecha crop top. The Mecha crop top is what I call it when a mech covers the pilot's head but leaves their body completely exposed to the open air. Doesn't make a lot of practical sense, especially if your mech's going to carry around like energy scythes, implying that it's some sort of combat mech. Why would you leave the pilot exposed to danger or incoming fire? But I would argue it's no less practical than the mechs that have the body covered but leave the head open for all that stuff as well. So I like how it looks, and other than Robbie the Mech suit, I really haven't done it that often. Except for maybe this one time. I don't know if this counts. So recently I decided, you know what, that was a cool look and I want to try it again. This is the first of the two we're going to look at, and I call him Blockhead Harold. If that sounds like kind of a mean name for a mech, it's because I'm mad at this guy. This took me way too long to build. I was trying to do so much as far as like new and interesting techniques and interesting limb designs and shapes, and it just took way too long and I wasn't happy with it and I wasn't having fun, and honestly I'm not even that happy with the results. So I'm mad at him, and I call him Blockhead Harold because I'm mad at him. But he's the thing that I built, so let's take a look at him. Something I do actually like about him is the shape of his legs here, kind of athletic looking. What I don't like is that you can't really straighten them because of the way the knee is. You can pull it out a little bit and make it a little bit straighter, but it's not great. The foot connected by these robot arms I really like, and there's even a little thruster back there, which is kind of cool. Originally I wanted this to flip down and have like weapons back there, but couldn't really come up with an interesting way to do that. So yeah, legs actually okay with. Wires on the back that go into the arms is a look that I think is cool and enjoy when it makes sense, but I think this is a case where it doesn't make sense. Why does he have extra power cables going into his arms? Maybe you could say that's just how this mech is designed and that's where they chose to put the power cables, and you know what, that's probably even somewhat realistic. But personally, if there's power cables on a mech going into different parts of the mech, I want to see what they're supplying power to. And this just doesn't have any. You know, actually, since Harold doesn't really have any weapons or anything to him, I kind of like to think this is the mech equivalent of just a car. You just take it from one place to the next. It's not really supposed to do anything other than that, which I guess makes sense why the pilot doesn't need to be protected. You just say the helmet is for in case he falls down or something like that. The head design I'm kind of torn on because the original Mecha crop top had sort of this really boxy bracket-based head that I didn't want to repeat. I wanted to come up with a more sleek design for the head, and you know, this one's got sort of a arrowhead sort of design to it. It looks slightly more aerodynamic, and I like this little eye down here while having this kind of blank slate as a face. It also opens in an interesting way, kind of panels open like this, so you can get a look at the guy sitting inside. And he looks happy to be here. I also like his little controls, little joystick actually indicating how he would control this mech. But all that being said, this is still pretty blocky. It's kind of just a different shape of block, so not entirely satisfied with this head either. Little shoulder lamp looks cool though. Now look man, I acknowledge I'm being kind of negative with this thing, so now we're going to say some things I like. The articulation was fun to design. I really tried hard not to use any ball joints. The only ball joints he has are right here in his hips, because hips need to move a lot. Knees, as you've already seen, are just a regular clip and bar, and they don't even move that much, which kind of sucks. Foot, clip and bar down there, connected in a fun way. We already talked about that. But the arms are also all clip and bars. They move in and out like this, forward and back like this, can also move in and out here, and have a little bit of a bicep swivel, plus the whole thing can rotate like that. So even though there's only 2 ball joints in this mech, in the legs, he can actually move pretty decently and get some like halfway decent poses out of him as long as you don't need to move the legs too much. So that is a good thing I'll say about Harold. It's not all bad on Team Harold. Alright, now we got a mech we're actually going to say some nice things about. This is Nitro Bubblegum, and this was my second attempt at making the Mecha crop top design in a more updated fashion, since the last one I was none too satisfied with. The first improvement is the color, in my opinion. I think it's way brighter, way more interesting, a lot more vibrant and fun to look at. The way I started this color scheme was a thing I've done before, actually. I asked my wife to pick out some colors from my Lego collection for me to work with, and she picked lime green mixed with dark and medium azure, and yeah, great choice. Love how it came out. This mech has kind of an extreme sports vibe, I like to think. I love its little top knot up here. Fun little bit of customization from the pilot. Come around the back, look at all those thrusters. 2 down here, 2 up here. All kinds of cool jumps and kicks and leaps you can imagine it doing with that. Oh, one of its wires came out. Let's fix that. And speaking of those wires, this would be a case where they actually do serve a visual purpose. Also, great print on this tile here. I had to use it because it fit the vibe of this mech, but whoever came up with that, good stuff. Bring back video. I need more of these. So these wires are coming out of this power pack on the mech's back, and they are powering these sort of energy knives that it has in its arms, which I really, really like. There's also a pair of little guns under here. And with all these weapons, this mech is clearly designed for combat, which begs the question, why is the pilot just exposed to the air like that, other than to show off her incredible abs, I guess, which, you know, if I had abs like that, I wouldn't wear a chest plate either. But the reason being, this mech is actually part of a punk subculture in my Lego world that I call bum rushing, which is kind of a mix of daredevils and car culture, where it's just people who get together in these crazy, dangerous mech suits, and that's almost the point. It's like a competition to see who can have the most dangerous, barely held in their mech suit, and they'll race them, they'll fight them. A lot of people get hurt, a lot of people get worse than hurt, but I guess that's the pride they take. They like to see who can get in the worst thing and come out of it alive. And yes, the Axlepunk is absolutely a bum rusher as well. I mean, look at this guy. He's got wheels for feet, no protection in the head other than like a helmet, which what's that gonna do? You're in a mech suit. And the closest thing to his head is not any kind of protection, it's a sword. What an idiot. This is also as good a time as any to let you guys know that if you want to build either of these for yourself, the instructions for both of them will be over on my PayHip page and on my Rebrickable page. The links will be down in my pinned comment as well as the video description. Now you'll also notice on Nitro Bubblegum, the head is better, at least I think so. Not blocky at all compared to the original. It's got this very nice sleek shape to it, ponytail as mentioned earlier, and it just flips up nice and easy so you can see the minifigures sitting inside. I love this helmet. It was the first thing I built when I started working on this one, and I'm definitely going to reuse it. In fact, I already have, but we'll get to that later. The articulation on this is also better. Ball joints in the hips once again, but also in the elbows, so you can get the real deep curl as well as kind of some in and out action, which is really nice for all sorts of poses. The shoulder is actually, once again, a T-bar, so just a clip and bar system, and then this kind of covers it, but it's really good at getting out of the way when you need to move the arm like that. The knees are also clip and bar system, move like that, but can also kind of swivel in and out. And then the legs are very similar to, or sorry, the feet are very similar to Harold, because they're pretty much the exact same design. So if you've always been super afraid of concussions but not that concerned about the rest of it, maybe a Mecha crop top is in your future. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really like this video, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment and tell me what you thought of these guys. I've been Mindbender, and I will talk to you later.